When Jack Canfield asked his wife the same two questions, this is about the questions about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the quality of a relationship? And then the next question would be, what would it need to be if it's below a 10 to get it to a 10? So when Jack asked his wife the two same questions every Sunday night, here's the typical scenario. How would you rate the quality of a relationship this past week? And she would say an 8. What would it take to get me to a 10? Come to bed at the same time as me for at least 4 nights a week. Come in for dinner on time. Or call me and tell me you're going to be late. I hate sitting and waiting and wondering. Let me finish a joke. I'm telling you without interrupting and taking over because you think you can tell it better. Put your dirty laundry in the clothes hamper instead of a pile on the floor. Does this all sound familiar? Jack asks his assistants this question every Friday afternoon. Here is one response he received one Friday. A 6. Whoa, what would it take to get me to a 10? Well, we're supposed to have a meeting this week to go over my quarterly review, but it got pushed aside for other matters. It makes me feel unimportant and that you don't care about me as much as other people around here. The other thing is that I feel that you're not using me enough. You're not delegating anything but the simple stuff to me. I want more responsibility. I want you to trust me more with important stuff. This job has become boring and uninteresting, she said. I want more of a challenge. I mean, that's not easy to hear, but it's true. And it led to 2 wonderful results. It helped Jack delegate more important stuff to her and thus cleared his plate, giving him more free time. And it also created a happier assistant who was able to serve him and the company better. So it does pay to ask these 2 questions. When Mark Victor Hansen and Jack decided to compile the stories about chicken soup for the African American soul, he asked Lisa Nichols to co-author the book with him. Lisa was the founder and the CEO of Motivating the Teen Spirit, which she started to empower teens to fall madly in love with themselves. In recent years, she'd expanded her mission to include all age groups because she believes that all of us deserve to fall in love with the person we see in the mirror every single morning. Lisa went on to have a full feature role in the movie The Secret and has authored several books of her own, including No Matter No What and Unbreakable Spirit. Of course, over the course of the working on the 2 different books together, Lisa and Jack became close friends. She told him that one of the best things to come out of the relationship on a scale of 1 to 10 question was that exact question on a scale of 1 to 10. After first hearing about this technique, she instantly became to use it with her son, who was 11 years old at the time. She had been feeling guilty about being separated from him for so much during the working week. The first time she had asked him to rate the relationship, he gave her a 7. She thought. Not terrible, but it sure could be better. Taking a deep breath, she asked, what would it take to get to a 10? He said, I want to see you more. I want to travel with you. She immediately took this to heart and committed to find a way to make it happen. First, she enrolled him in a private school with the condition that he was able to distance learn while he travelled with her. The school administrator said, we've never really done that before. Lisa told him, I'm excited to get to co-create a new possibility. The school agreed to try it, and for the 2 years, her son travelled with her whenever he wanted to. She showed him her travel calendar 6 months in advance, and he chose the place that he wanted to go. Eventually, he said, Mum, I'm ready to stay at home. They had handled the particular part of improving their relationship extremely well as a result of these 2 questions. So when he was 17, she asked him to do the 1 to 10 feedback question while they were watching movies at home together. He said, oh, Mum, this again? She repeated the question, and he said, I rate you a 9. She asked, what would it make to go from a 9 to a 10? And he said and sat there and thought. Finally, he says, I can't really think of anything. But it seems so weird to say it's a 10 because that would make it perfect. You've got to remember as well, some people just can't say 10 regardless. Even if you're outstanding or absolutely fantastic at what you do, they just can't bring themselves to say perfect. It's just in their nature. We do get it for the ESTAs, the Estate Agent Awards. She said, okay, if it's not perfect, what would make it a 10? And he says, all I can think of is sitting on the couch, watching movies with you, our feet touching and cooking with you. We're doing all that now, but it still feels weird to say a 10. In that moment, she felt her heart swell up with love. She told him, I don't care how many stages I stand on, how many millions of people I speak in front of, and how much wealth I can generate. The most important thing to me is the relationship I have with my son. It's beyond price. You gave me a tool to monitor my son's needs, she said to Jack, his desires, what he's getting and what he's not getting. For that, I'll be forever grateful. So it's easy to look really brilliant with such little effort. So Virginia Stair, the author of the classic parenting book, People Making, was probably the most successful and famous family therapist who ever lived. During her long, illustrious career, she was hired by the Michigan State Department of Social Services to provide a proposal on how to revamp and restructure the Department of Social Services so it would serve the client population better. 60 days later, she provided the department with a 150-page report, which they said was the most amazing piece they'd ever seen. This is brilliant, they gushed. How did you come up with all these ideas? And she replied, I just went out to all the social workers in the system and asked them what it would take for the system to work better. And that is how simple it is, people. And I'll see you tomorrow.